have you been genetically blessed with, and nerfed with? Story 1. When I gain weight, it goes first to my hips and thighs. They get rounder and give me an overall curvy shape, belly mostly flat. The problem is that I am a hetero male. Edit, my squat is 140 kg 308 pounds. Story 2. Blessed with big, nerfed with no. Edit, to everyone telling me to go to the gym and giving me advice, I want you to know that I am not trying to improve myself by getting bigger. I am very satisfied with my body. I am also well aware that it can be built. I just think it's funny that I'm shaped like an AirPod, and I thought this would make a relatable comment. Hopefully there's other people looking at these comments and getting the advice they were looking for though. Story 3. I went gray at 16, but now love my gray hair. I'm very tall, naturally quite densely built, even though I'm a bit on the chubby side, square jaw, thick eyebrows, hairy chest, happy trail on my belly. Probably look like I could do okay in a fight. More than once, strangers have compared me to Gaston. I'm not that muscular, but yeah, I can see where they're coming from. I was born female. Story 4. Genetically blessed with a super active immune system. I recover from things really fast and really well, wounds and diseases. Nerfed with a super active immune system. It goes into overdrive at the touch of a button. I get inflammation from lots of things and it makes me sick for days or weeks. Story 5. Blessed with naturally thick curly hair that hairdressers always compliment. Nerfed with the worst hay fever you can imagine. Spring isn't romantic when you're sneezing 20 times in a row and your eyes are constantly watering. Story 6. Good looks, great body. And I look significantly younger than my 40 years thanks to my Japanese genes. I'm so nearsighted that I look like Hans Moleman the moment I put on my glasses. Story 7. I'm 71. Huge blessing and a huge curse. On average, people my height live 12 to 15 years less than average size people. All the other issues I can deal with. That one is hard to overlook. Story 8. Blessed to have the ability to hyperfocus on and really get things done. Nerfed heavily with the fact that it's only with things I find interesting. Everything else will literally put me to sleep with boredom. Aged is a edit. Lot of you folks been saying you wish you had got tested. What's stopping you? I didn't get diagnosed until the age of 27. It's not too late. Proper medication makes a difference in your life. Story 9. Blessed my family has high levels of testosterone, meaning I'm a whole lot stronger than I look. Nerf, I weigh a lot more than I look like I do too for the aforementioned reason, so I also have bad ankles, knees, Story 10. Blessed with height, being naturally thin, conventionally attractive, smart enough to get a PhD in genetics, cursed with major armpit stank. Like y'all don't even understand how much time and product goes into me not smelling like a barn animal. I've literally had to see doctors about it. Story 11. I was blessed with most things. My body is a machine that I can throw anything at. I was nerfed with depression running in the family though, and it's been hitting me pretty hard. Story 12. The answer to both of these is ADHD. Blessed with advanced pattern recognition, hyperfocus, thrives in an emergency, high empathy and sense of justice, quickly picks up new skills, great storyteller. Nerfed by rejection, sensitive dysphoria, inability to sit still and relax, paralyzing anxiety, dopamine deregulation, and the big daddy executive dysfunction. Story 13. A large and highly developed brain, opposable thumbs, a tendency towards social structure and the ability to create and understand complex symbolic and linguistic systems. Despite all of these critical advantages, I had the grave misfortune of being born me. Story 14. Blessed with clear, soft, non-textured skin, never once had acne. Nerfed, but it scars very easily and takes years to heal. Fade if it gets damaged. Stretch mark prone. Story 15. Nerfed with bad skin, I'm 30 and still get acne, LPR, skinny, slow to gain muscle, acne scars, speech impediment, depression, low self-esteem, severe procrastination problems. Blessed with attention to detail, I have a pretty stellar memory, very easy time learning things, fine motor control, that's all I got. Story 16. Got an afro that's pretty soft and am about 511, but it turns out I'm a little too shy for my own good. Making connections is rocket science to me. Story 17. I have the joints, muscle development, and bone structure of the working stock. No weak aristocratic ailments for me. I'm never been injured at 45 even after decades of lifting, being a firefighter, and playing contact sports. I've got ADD and dependency issues I've inherited through generations of blue-collar workers. Story 18. I can withstand extremely high temperatures for a long time. Losing 10 to 20 pounds of water weight in a day is no big deal fairly consistently from working in extreme heat. Sadly, I live in Canada and it's not warm conditions like 8 months of the year. I really can't handle the cold. Story 19. Many people consider this a nerfing, but I see a blessing. Hyperandrogenism due to PCOS. Infrequent periods, often 40 days, and muscle mass, stamina and strength above normal levels for the female body. It'll take the extra hair. Who cares when I'm strong AF? Story 20. I don't really have much body hair, so I never really had to wax my legs or anything. Armpit hair is sparse enough to wax once a month. Unfortunately, I barely have any eyebrows and my hair is pretty thin. Story 21. I have a genetic connective tissue disorder that gives me very smooth and soft skin, and I look younger than a lot of my peers at my age, but my joints dislocate and sublux very easily. I get bruises for seemingly no reason, and my body hurts all the time. Yay. Story 22. Genetically blessed with my metabolism. I love eating and hate sport, but it's hard for me to put on weight even in my late 30s. My mom still has an amazing figure in her 60s, cursed with really bad eyesight and autoimmune diseases. Story 23 Blessed objectively good looking. High IQ nerfed. The way I found out about the IQ was a psych eval where I found out I'm hella ad-dast. With all three combined, it's been hard to maintain long-term employment and just keep up with a lot of basic life stuff. I've also got every genetic marker for alcoholism and heroin addiction. Been sober for almost 8 years though. Story 24 Blessings. Full head of hair. Gray hair texture is identical to non-gray hairs. Strong teeth with a perfect bite, no braces, strong nails, and muscular calves that need no work. Nerf. Strong predisposition to cancer and dementia in the family. My grandmother had 3 cancers, I've already had one, and several family members have had it. On my grandfather's side he had 11 brothers and sisters. Of the 9 that lived past 55, every single one of them got Alzheimer's in their 70s. My mom is 62 this year and she's starting to show symptoms. Story 25 Blessed and nerfed with the same thing, albinism. I naturally have platinum hair, blue-purple eyes, and have decent looks otherwise. I'm blind as though. Story 26 Can't think of blessed. Although I had a very bad sugary diet for a decade without visiting a dentist and somehow never needed fillings. Nerfed will have to be my wrists. My dad has the same issue, but my wrists can't rotate very far, so I can't have my hands face upwards. It sounds small but makes it a pain for people passing you things, picking up anything like boxes, partners, children, etc., and holding on to things from behind. Bowling is also a pain. Story 27 All my early life, I would boast about my kick-ass immune system. I never got sick in 20 years or so I thought, and I could count the times I'd been hospitalized on the fingers of one hand, all for traumatic accidents rather than illness or disease. In my mid-20s I was diagnosed with systemic sclerosis. Turns out my white blood cells were more than kick-ass. They're hyperaggressive and are destroying me from the inside, one cell at a time. I'm now in my mid-30s with the body of an 80 years old. Lesson learned: beware if you never get sick, it might be a symptom of something worse going on inside you. Story 28 Hypermobility. As a young man who rock climbed, this was amazing. I was naturally flexible and able to do a lot of things that my peers could not. As an old 44 man, yeah, not so great. Turns out that it turns into a lot of inflammatory problems in joints and early onset arthritis. Very painful. Story 29 Blessed and nerfed with high-functioning autism. Blessed because it helps me understand new concepts extremely quickly and remember huge volumes of information. Nerfed because I don't get social cues intuitively, I have to kind of brute force social situations with a lot of analysis. Story 30 Genetically blessed with 5 to my constitution stats, but a 3 to wisdom. For example, I smoked cigarettes pretty regularly for a while, but I never got addicted, so just stopped one day cold turkey. A wiser person would just not have started in the first place, you know? Never trained or prepared to go to Everest Base Camp, but never got any altitude sickness. Meanwhile my hiking partner was doing 5K runs every day to prepare, and she almost gave up the day before we reached the top. BC she felt so bad. Shrugs. Story 31 I have EDS, a genetic connective tissue disorder that causes me frequent pain and injuries, GI problems, immune system problems, and low blood pressure, but the same illness also slows signs of skin aging, so we'll look young forever, I guess. And I love salt, so the low blood pressure thing means I have the green light from my doctor to eat all the salt I want. Story 32 I've been told I'm fairly good looking, high cheekbones. I must be somewhat intelligent to have got through all the degrees I've got through and speak 2 languages. Clear skin, fairly physically strong, not overweight, good hairline. Also 53, ASD, dyslexic and major depressive, but the actual relevant one has to be paralyzed from the chest down due to my immune system severing my spinal cord. Story 33 When I took an IQ test I learned that my working memory is in the top 10 with all other scores being about average. My core has always been abnormally strong and durable regardless of my size, but I have 6 diagnosed mental illnesses, so there's that. Story 34 Blessed my father and my grandfather both have a full head of hair, so I won't have to worry about male pattern baldness. My grandmother on my mother's side is 98 years old, with my grandmother's brother and sisters also having reached well into their 90s and even one who reached 102 before passing away. Both my parents look younger than their actual age, 60 and 58. Nerf I was born male and am autistic AF. Story 35 Blessed built like a ox, broad shoulders and naturally strong and capable, can build a fire from sticks and grill a mean steak, can bear children and bake bread, can shoot, fish, chug a beer faster than most, etc. Nerf am a mostly straight woman, and many men are intimidated or insecure or incapable. Story 36 Blessed with good teeth and a good immune system. Nerfed with no pay to sort that though, so now I would say nerfed with high work ethic and the stress that goes with it. Story 37 Nerfs. Connective tissue bullshit makes piano hard, some mitochondrial bullshit makes intense exercise hard, allergies to everything except not allergies bullshit makes survival hard, high percentile neuroticism makes life hard, blessings nice, sharp, very creative, competent at a lot of things. Story 38 ODHD that gave me hyperfocus that enables me to write a week's worth of code in a day. ODHD that makes it hard to aim my hyperfocus on the tasks I actually need to get done. Story 39 A fairly large frame amount of muscle that stays on my body no matter what I do, even if I get very unhealthy. Nerfed with being only 510 and having bad hairbeard genetics. Story 40 Blessed with I am tall and thin, and I have soft skin that doesn't wrinkle as fast as most people's, which makes me look about 10 years younger than my actual age. Nerfed with these traits are due to a rare genetic condition that also causes chronic joint pain and will most likely make me need a wheelchair by my 40s. Story 41. Longevity. Most people in my family get really old. 90. My great-grandma died at 103. I have a predisposition to mental health problems such as anxiety. Thankfully, thanks to extensive therapy, it's not a bother in my daily life, but I still have to be cognizant of it. Story 42. Even as a teenager, I've always had great skin, very few zits then, and very few wrinkles on my 55-year-old face now, like my mom was, but I'm short and fat, also like my mom was. Story 43. IQ at 132. Alcoholism and ADHD kept me from using it to do anything productive until my late 30s. Now that I'm sober and medicated, I feel like I'm never going to catch up to my ambitions. I burned out without realizing I was on fire. Story 44. Really pretty eyes. Eyesight blessed with good looks and emotional intelligence. My personality is awesome and I love how I can make others laugh, support and feel good about themselves in any situation. Nerfed with ADHD, autism, bipolar, little bit of anger management difficulties and so much more, but at least I'm pretty so all good. Story 45. I hit the genetic lottery of combined problems. My mom's eczema and my dad's psoriasis. My mom's height short and my dad's weight heavy. My mom's family's neurological disorders and my dad's family's psychological disorders. Both of their allergies and both of their terrible eyesights combined. Just top to bottom. Stole every hereditary issue. Either one of them had ever had genetic wins. Thick, curly hair that we have no clue where it came from. My mom's creativity, my dad's spatial reasoning, their combined intelligence, and my dad's iron stomach. I'm much more like my mom in personality, but that's all nurture baby, only bullet-dodged suicidal tendencies. My sister won the gamble, she's fine, and my dad had no idea that causally wishing you were dead as a teenager actually wasn't normal. Story 46. Blessed sunburn resistance 100. My skin has a naturally high resistance to UV damage, significantly reducing the likelihood of sunburn even with prolonged exposure. Nerfed poison ivy susceptibility -500. Contact with poison ivy results in an extremely aggressive reaction, with severe itching, rashes, and inflammation. Looking in the direction of poison ivy can cause a reaction. Story 47. I have been blessed with a hyper-focused mind that can focus on anything with great enthusiasm, but I am nerfed with a hyperactive imagination that constantly bombards me with thoughts that I can't control, and usually they are extremely dark and negative, can make it difficult to get the motivation to focus on something. Story 48. Blessed with immune system of steel and healing abilities of the gods. Nerfed with terrible eyesight, depression, anxiety, hypermobility, endometriosis, IBS, allergy to most painkillers, can only take Tylenol and antibiotics, sciatica, plantar fasciitis and collapsing arches. Story 49. No one in my very large family tree has ever gotten cancer. No amount of drugs, alcohol, cigarettes or whatever can kill us. We all live to out mid-90s. For Story 50. I have very high energy levels due to ADHD, but have chronic fatigue due to brain damage, so I sleep up to 20 hours a day so I never feel rested or relaxed. Story 51. I don't gain weight and really easily lose it, but I lose it a bit too easily. If I don't eat properly and skip meals for just a week, my weight drops extremely quickly. Story 52. Generally speaking, I've got a natural high tolerance to most drugs, so I can drink a lot, or smoke a lot, or do a lot of uppers or whatever, but I can't ever get really up, which is great but also not so great because it's expensive. Story 53. 90 of my family on both sides have high rates of cancers. I've lost 3 grandparents, 3 uncles and a father to them. The ones that don't have heart disease, I also seem to heal and recover from things very quickly and heal much better than the average person, much to the surprise of my doctors. Story 54. Great skin and hair that I don't have to do hardly anything to except basic maintenance. In my 40s and not a single wrinkle. I don't even use soap on my face. Hair is a great natural shade of blonde that people have debated with me over whether or not it's real. Nerfed with chronic depression. I don't know life without it. Lots of mental illness on my dad's side of the family, and am convinced that's why it is so built in and hard to treat. Relieved I didn't get nerfed with some of the more difficult ailments they did. Not that depression has been any kind of picnic. Story 55. Flawless skin and hair with absolutely zero effort on my part, but my immune system is trying to kill me and I have to take 5 separate antipsychotics just to keep me semi-stable, so it's a give and take. Story 56. Both blessing and curse metabolism. Incredibly fast metabolism. I can eat outrageous amounts of food and not gain weight at all, but I've also been underweight all my life, just recently passed the underweight to bottom percentile of normal weight, and as an athlete this means I can't easily build muscle and get injured a lot. I'm super skinny, but aesthetically it's not terrible now at least. Story 57. I have been genetically blessed with a naturally muscular structure that I don't need to work hard to maintain. I've been cursed with gray hair at the age of 28, and a curved back I'll certainly be regretting in 30 more years. Story 58. I'm not bad looking and pretty intelligent, but have high-functioning autism, and that brings with it depression, anxiety, social awkwardness, etc., professionally diagnosed, as, on Reddit, that apparently needs to be clarified. Story 59. I am nearly unbreakable, having denser bones than average, got hit by 10 cars in a year as a bicycle courier, barely fazed me, But me hips, y'all, they just pop out of joint whenever they're feeling adventurous. And the timing is always both comical and terrible. I got it from my mom, and it's the only problem I've inherited at all. Story 60 blessed with a great and perky even at my advanced age if mid-40s nerfed with debilitating anxiety, ADHD, and carrying every single ounce of extra weight in my stomach. Story 61 blessed overall great health, no cavities, no digestive issues, no major allergies, I can sleep soundly every night, I also hardly ever get ill, with anything, cursed comically nearsighted but more than that, the autism and ADHD combo. Story 62 am tall, conventionally handsome, am well endowed, and am fairly intelligent however, I also deal with bipolar, severe anxiety, and am somewhat socially inept, it sometimes cancels out the benefits of the aforementioned blessings. Sucks blessed with good muscle tone, it takes longer than average for me to lose muscle if I stop exercise from what I can tell, nerfed with bad knee, it keeps dislocating shitty leg days for me. Story 63 am pretty bright but have also been cursed with incredibly low industriousness and conscientiousness, so, my smarts are effectively cancelled out because I end up doing all with them. Story 64 I have super cool gray-green eyes, I've never met anyone with my eye color ever, I also had 2010 vision until I was 30, now I'm 33 and it's 2020, I'm essentially allergic to the sun, I wear SPF 70 even when I'm in my house, I can legitimately feel my skin burning when I walk across the Target parking lot. I walk my dogs a lot less than I'd like to, because of this, as such I get skin cancer regularly, I have to go to the dermatologist every 6 months, well technically I have had skin cancer twice, but I get the same pre-cancers every year, ID trade high-quality eyes for a couple of drops of melanin please. Story 65 I have perfect pitch and an unerring ear for music, I can listen to a song once and immediately play it, provided it's within my skill level, my brain also turns white noise into music, my dishwasher plays me symphonies, I'm also nearsighted, apraxic, and have ODHD, fibromyalgia, arthritis and asthma. It's definitely not worth it, especially since I quit the music business. Story 66 I can eat or drink literally anything with no stomach symptoms. Whiskey then cheap ramen with hot sauce, a gallon of milk in one sitting, double cheeseburger with bacon and fried eggs, no problem. To compensate for this superpower I started balding at 18, had to shave it at 23. Story 67 I am blessed with good looks, kind eyes, and smarts that reassure people I can and will get things done. I am cursed with mild cerebral palsy and hands that sweat profusely, the left of which is shaky and prone to accidentally spilling liquids or throwing things halfway across the room. Once my big words and charming demeanor make you think, this guy's got it all taken care of, the subsequent moist handshake and hot coffee spill will surely reverse that sentiment. Story 68 very smart and always top of my class, muddied by undiagnosed autism until recently and severe mental health issues, recently gone back to uni and constantly feel like a failure for not having been able to make any academic progress. Was once earmarked for medicine, now I work in healthcare in a minimum wage role. Story 69 blessed with the most beautiful curls you could imagine am a guy nerfed by some of the worst dandruff it's either psoriasis or dermatitis, I haven't been able to get diagnosed you've ever seen. Story 70 the good, am much taller than my folks, I seem to be able to carry my overall size well I'm not some lanky dude, I have some weight, maybe a bit too much, I'm not the best looking, in fact I don't even think I am good looking, but I have experienced pretty privilege. So that's according to some people crowds in some specific situations, so I don't have to listen to myself here, whether I'm being insecure one moment, or being cocky the next. I'm fairly athletic that if I underperform physically that's my fault, if I train, work out, eat and rest properly, I measure up fairly well in many of the activities I do, I respond well to these things, and it doesn't seem to take much, I was an overachieving and overperforming kid at school, so I don't think I'm at least. I found grade school and junior, high super easy, the bad, ADD means that after the super easy grade school and junior, high learning phase where I seemed like an overachiever without even trying, things had to keep me interested or else I underperform, I either had really great marks or super mediocre ones, no fails thankfully. I am looking down the barrel of type 2 diabetes in my senior years, also probably hypertension and cardiovascular problems. While musculoskeletal is good and athletic, the heart isn't super reliable in the men in both sides of the family past 60. Although this and type 2 diabetes could probably be helped by diet, exercise and highly disciplined lifestyle choices, I also have sleep apnea. So now CPAP is life, I have some emotional things going on, though one can chalk these up to environment, life experiences, etc. I do feel like I'm more susceptible to taking things hard, taking things personally, losing hope in people and the world in general, instead of just moving on with a rosy outlook. I've observed some people to be more resilient than I am, so my pet theory is that we all have natural dispositions, and mine doesn't have the resilience and positivity features cranked up. Story 71 I have very high testosterone, meaning that by the time I was 16 I could grow a full beard and I can naturally build and maintain muscle fairly easily. I also have a great for guy something that's been pointed out by my sister, my mum, my now ex and several other girls I know. As for my nerf, God decided that if a speck of bread touches my lips I would projectile vomit. Story 72 95 of the men in my family and relatives are more or less bald since they were in their 30s I am 32, got my mother's thick hair and no signs of balding so far. What a time to be long-haired metalhead, poor eyesight though like pretty much everyone else in my family. Story 73 blessed with intelligence and am pretty cute for an old lady, nerfed with type 1 diabetes and resulting arthritis and coronary artery disease complications. Could be a lot worse, it's not 100 years ago. Story 74 blessed thick, dare I say luscious head of hair, tremendous immune system, I rarely ever get sick, but when I do it knocks me out for 4 days. Athletic ability, cursed non-athletic looking body, won't ever look shredded, overthinking, overanalyzing, under 6 not by much, 511. Story 75 I gain muscle fairly easily and look much younger than I am, nerfed by disabling pain, fatigue, PTSD and headaches as a result of an industrial accident, genetically predisposition to addiction and neurological breakdown. Am fun at parties for 2 hours then I'm useless. Story 76 honestly, I kinda lost in most genetic categories. I lost my hair at 23, facial hair went white in my 30s, my family has a constant struggle with weight, I wasn't blessed down below, I have a face made for radio, not really sure what I would say I won on. Story 77 oh my time to shine, I had a brain tumor at 21 and so far I've had 6 brain surgeries, disc replacements and cancer, but if you met me you'd never know I'd had any of that. I'm 51F and still lift every day. Genetics has probably helped get me through most of it. I'm 5 and 110 pounds and my max bench is 205 pounds. I'm trying to get back to that. I'm stuck at 165 pounds right now. I lost so much strength after I had cancer. Story 78 I have 6 genetic diseases and disorders. Several are rare, mental and physical. I also have bad eyesight and a gallbladder. If I'm not trying to kill myself on purpose, my body try to give it a go, but at least I'm pretty. Story 79 blessed with skin that is generally clear and acne-free. Even as a teen, I rarely get sick. I'm in my 40s and knock on I have no wrinkles. But I'm a Latina and we have good genes in general. Unfortunately I started to go gray in my 30s, but I suspect that had a lot to do with trauma. I also have mental health issues that some of which I'm pretty sure came from my egg donor, since she had most of the same ones. My family is full of addicts on both sides, so I have to be extra careful when it comes to alcohol or anything else, because one drink too many and he'll end up under the freeway dinging show tunes nightmarishly off key. Story 80 terrific skin, smooth, never had acne, some freckles and overall baby skin that still makes me look way younger than I am. I just gain weight from existing. Story 81 blessed with good hair, mostly well-behaved curls, good skin, very intelligent, hourglass figure, moderately talented dancer, nerfed by childhood of abuse, poverty, shitty teeth, ADHD not DX until late 20s, anxiety, and depression. This is why I'm only now going to be finishing my doctorate right after I turn 50. I'm doing alright though, all things considered. Story 82 I got to be 63, my frame is meant to be over 200 pounds, and am significantly above average. I got allergies that will kill me. When I was a kid when it rained my airway would swell shut, fungal spore released in the desert caused it. I'm allergic to shellfish, sweet potatoes, dust mites, pollen, fabric softener, tobacco, plus I get migraines randomly, got a love injury and genetic migraines. Story 83 I have a great memory but bad processing skills, a symmetrical face but completely bald, the ability to build muscle easily but I gain fat just as easily, no refractory period but I too quickly and more pretty well balanced superpowers. Story 84 blessed with 20/20 vision and very little acne. My curse is that the cup your patella rests in is flat for me, making my knee dislocated, frequently making sports hazardous. The only sport I can really participate in without a brace is swimming. Story 85 all the men in my family are tall. I'm among the shortest at 64, and we have wicked chests, shoulders and arms without trying, but we're on life support by our late 70s. Story 86 blessed with exceptional problem solving and critical thinking skills, nerfed with multiple disabilities that limit my bodily function and oftentimes leave me unable to do anything. Story 87 blessed great skin, never had a problem with spots, intelligent enough to go to university and find reading legalese easy, nerfed terrible eyesight and dysplasia, manufacturing flaw in both hips, needing hip replacements way too early. Story 88 perfect teeth, thick black hair on my head that doesn't look like it's going anywhere, resistant to sports injuries, shitty eyesight, which would have been fine had it not killed my Air Force dreams back when LASIK wasn't an option. I'd gladly swap all 3 blessings for the chance to fly cargo, not even fighter jets. Story 89 losing my hair on my head, 0, but I've never had a cavity and was born without wisdom teeth. My dentist said if everyone had my teeth, dentist wouldn't need to exist. Story 90 I am tall with thick curly red hair. I am a man but many women have told me they are jealous, but I also got autism, and don't know how to talk to women. Story 91 my hair genetics are amazing, almost nothing gray at 43 and stupid thick and full, you'll never go bald, and I don't dye my hair at all, so less damaged ends, it's down to my butt, with an undercut for temp control after bouncing my face off a concrete floor. I now run hot all the time, super annoying, but easier on the heat pump and I love it. Now as for everything else, my body is falling apart. I have FM, PCS, degenerative disc disease, and more, so I feel like I'm dying most of the time, but my hair is fantastic. Story 92 hair, it's genetics. My 90-year-old parents died with a full head of hair. PPL always ask where I get my hair done. I literally get out of bed and barely brush my hair. I've been asked if my hair is a wig. My adult daughter has been approached to advertise for hair salons in exchange for free haircuts colors. Hair is a huge thing. Story 93 female, grew up with blonde hair, blue eyes, 59 tall blessing, the curse, congenital birth defect called Poland syndrome that has plagued me my entire life. Right side affected, no pectoral muscle. I don't have the deformities on the hand like some severe cases. I guess I was lucky. Growing up, I was so ashamed to even speak of it. Now 5 implants and 4 decades later, I just don't care anymore. It'll never be symmetrical and am way past the stage of finding the right bra bathing suit to hide my chest. Story 94 genetically blessed with 9 lives fallen down the stairs 3 times. A bike while riding it on my head, 5 car accidents, fell off a Penske truck, etc. Nerfed with HHD and a small. Story 95 I have gorgeous hands. I could be a hand model. My fingers are long and my nail beds are long, making my nails look naturally feminine and long even when I cut them short. I don't have to get acrylics. However, my feet could compete for world's ugliest feet. Both have bunions and crooked toes that cross. I can't wear open toe shoes because I've literally had people go, OMG, what happened to your feet? They are also big.